जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोधानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यमुना तीर वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोधानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यमुना तीर वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada की जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की नवद्वीप जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की गंगा माई यमुना माई की तुलसी देवी भक्ति देवी की ताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, first chapter, verse number 37. Brahmananam kshatra bhujo mahatma vidururangristrita krishna varnaha नाना भिद्दा भिज्जगनोपपामो द्रव्यात्मका कर्म वितान योग ब्रह्माननं क्षात्रभुजो महात्मा विदुरुरङ्घ्रिश्रितकृष्णवर्णः नानाभिद्यभिज्जगनोपपन्नो द्रव्यात्मका कर्मवितानयोग ब्रह्माननं क्षात्रभुजो महात्मा विदुरुरङ्घ्रिश्रितकृष्णवर्णः नानाभिदाभिज्जगनोपपन्नो द्रव्यात्मका कर्मवितानयोगः ब्रह्माननं क्षात्रभुजो महात्मा विदुरुरङ्घ्रिश्रितकृष्णवर्णः नानाभिद्यभिज्जगनोपपन्नो द्रव्यात्मका कर्मवितानयोगः ब्रह्माननं क्षत्रभुजो महात्मा नानाभिद्यभिज्जगनोपपन्नो Mataji's word by word translation and meaning synonyms. Brahma, Brahmanas. Ananam, face. Kshatra, Kshatriyas. Bhuja, the arms. Mahatma, the Virat Purusha, with the Vaishyas. Uru, the thighs. Angristrita, under the protection of his feet. Krishna Varnaha, the Shudras. Nana, various. Abhida, the by names. Abhigya, Jana, the demigods. Upapapannaha, by being overtaken. Dravyatmakaha, with feasible goods. Karma, activities. Vitana yogaha, performance of sacrifice. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. The Virata Purusha's face is the Brahmanas, his arms are Kshatriyas, his thighs are the Vaishyas, and the Shudras are under protection of his feet. All the worshipable demigods are also overtaken by him. And it is the duty of everyone to perform sacrifices with feasible goods to appease the Lord. Purport. Monotheism is practically suggested here. Offering sacrifices to many demigods under different names is mentioned in the Vedic literatures. But the suggestion made in this verse is that all those varieties of demigods are included in the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are only the part and parcels of the original whole. Similarly, division of the orders of human societies, Brahmanas, the intelligent class, Kshatriyas, the administrators, the Vaishyas, the mercantile community, and the Shudras, the labor class, are all included in the body of the Supreme. As such, sacrifice by every one of them in terms of pleasing the Supreme by feasible goods is recommended. Generally, the sacrifice is offered with clarified butter and grains, but with progress of time, human society has produced variety of goods by transforming materials supplied by God's material nature. Human society therefore must learn to offer sacrifices not only with clarified butter but also with other manufactured goods in propagation of Lord's glory, and that will bring about perfection in human society. The intelligent class of men or the Brahmanas may give direction for such sacrifices in consultation with the previous acharyas, and the administrators may give all facilities to perform such sacrifices. The Vaishya class or the mercantile class who produce such goods may offer them for sacrifice, and Shudras may offer their manual labor for the successful termination of such sacrifice. Thus, by the cooperation of all classes of human beings, the sacrifice recommended in this age, namely the sacrifice of the congregational chanting of the holy name of the Lord, may be executed for the common welfare of all the people. Om Ajnantimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manovristam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaiham Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavansha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Can anybody just help keeping that board by the side? Thank you. So, we welcome all the devotees who have come for the morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. And I seek blessings of all the devotees for speaking something which can be inspiring for all of us. Srimad Bhagavatam is different from all other scriptures, because here we see the devotees behaving differently from what we see in other scriptures. In other Puranas, Ramayana, Mahabharata, even in some places of Srimad Bhagavatam, where we are not talking about pure devotees, if anybody is cursed, that person immediately begs for forgiveness and begs for relief from the suffering. But here you can see the difference in the behavior of Parikshit. Moment he was cursed, he did not go and beg to Shamik Rishi that please forgive me, please relieve me from my suffering. He thanked. And that is a nature of a devotee. And this we have seen even in the stories of Srimad Bhagavatam. When King Chitraketu was cursed, he also didn't beg that please relieve my suffering. Yeah, they all beg for forgiveness. Parikshit also in his mind begged for forgiveness. Chitraketu also begged for forgiveness, but they didn't beg that please relieve our suffering. Otherwise, wherever we hear of stories where anybody is cursed, the first thing they do is they go on the knees and or when Indra is cursed, they start begging that please relieve my suffering. Parikshit Maharaj is thankful. Therefore, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, whenever he speaks about blade of grass, or rather every class he speaks about blade of grass, how it is trampled. So Maharaj says that it's not only just becoming tolerant or humble like that. We have to become more humble. That is, the grass says thank you for those who are trampling upon him. Thank you. So tolerance is, just tolerating. We are just tolerating. We have to become more tolerant than a tree and more humbler than a blade of grass. Means anything bad happens, we have to say thank you. And that's what Parikshit did, because he thought that he is so fortunate that he knows when he is going to die. And none of us sitting here are as fortunate as Parikshit. Because Parikshit was knowing. He said, I am so fortunate that I know that I have 7 days. None of us know about it. So that's Srimad Bhagavatam, about accepting things as they come. And if we don't indulge ourselves, immerse ourselves in reading Srimad Bhagavatam, we indulge in prajalpa. Pra means bad, jalpa means speech. And prajalpa means bad speech or anything that is not related to Krishna. So some devotees from ISKCON Dwarka, I was hearing to their lecture, ISKCON Dwarka, New Delhi. And I came across a very nice thing about types of prajalpa. We just normally use the one word prajalpa. And I would just like to talk about these things, because if we don't read Srimad Bhagavat, we will indulge into this. And the first type is useless talks. So what comes under useless talks is, actually you see, I don't know, whenever we rent a car and driver is not a devotee, typically you go for some yatras, Char Dham Yatra, you go for yatras in the south. So I have seen these drivers who are not devotees, now they are driving and they have to drive for 5-6 hours. So they immediately put a headphone and they start talking with somebody. We know who that somebody is. And most of the time, only one line which we hear again and again during that talks is "Aur batao, aur batao, acha, aur batao." And they just feel that now I have 5-6 hours. How I should engage it in doing something. Basically, today's generation, even us, or a conditioned soul, I cannot just say the today's generation, even old people also, young people, small children, what they want is constant engagement. Constant engagement. Kuch na kuch karna hai. And that's why people are always with the mobile. Because they want to do something constantly. I remember in our childhood when we used to travel in the car from our native place Satara to Pune. That time, we used to look out of the windows of the car, and it used to be such a pleasant experience that looking at the mountains, the trees passing by, even looking at the cars, and we used to have nice time. Nowadays, you start the car and the children say, "Give me mobile. I'm getting bored. I'm getting bored." And you try telling them, "See this mountain." You know how they react? I saw it. Very nice, very nice. Give me mobile. We went to the Himalayas. So I thought, okay, Sahyadri is green, Himalayas all ice-lit. So there we said, okay, look at those, nice Himalayas mountains. Very nice, very nice. Give me mobile. I'll click a photo. This constantly clicking photo, putting on status, doing something. So basically, we are not relishing the nature. We forget to relish the nature. Therefore, in Vrindavan temple, sometimes you try clicking the photos and the pujari will come and fire you. They will say that, don't click it here. Click in your heart. Relish it. Samne, you have come all the way here not to click photo with your mobile. Okay? So these, are useless talks. People are just, talking with each other. Aur batao. And I have been, staying with students for so long, and I have seen students, they'll keep on calling and talking. So, kya khaya? Kaisa hai? Kabhi soya? Neend aa raha hai? Padhai kiya? And all such things. This aur batao actually is a perverted version of Lord Chaitanya and Ramanand Rai's Samvad, where Lord Chaitanya was telling, aur batao, aar kah mere bhai. So if we don't, that discussion was on Srimad Bhagavatam. And if we don't indulge in Srimad Bhagavatam, then we will be like those people, aur batao, aur kya kiya, subah kya kiya, sham ko kya kiya, dopar ko kya kiya, aur batao. This is useless talks, aimless. Then second type of prajalpa is useless literature. And newspaper, television, newspaper is sometimes called as the Kali Puran. It is, what it has, all fault finding, everything is compiled together. Violence, sexual tendencies. Rarely there is appreciation. There is only criticism. Most of the time there is criticism there. There is hate news, bad news. And people relish. Morning, now the newspaper is available on the phone only. But few years back, before the smartphone, the newspaper, they used to come and throw. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, that person used to get late. The people used to shout, "Hey, what is this?" And then, drinking tea with that, reading the newspaper, that used to be, people used to relish that. So what is going in is garbage actually. That whole garbage is going inside. It gives us just a feeling of insecurity, hopelessness. Even the novels which are not connected to God, they also fall under this category of useless literature. Sometimes people feel that, okay, I'm not using mobile, I'm reading novels. And then they spend hours together reading novels. This particular novel, Harry Potter, when every time its new volume used to come, there used to be lines of kilometers outside the bookstore, and people used to buy it, and whole night, if you get it, in the evening at 6 o'clock till morning 6 o'clock, people used to read and finish. We devotees, we should sometimes feel ashamed that when will I get such taste for reading Srimad Bhagavatam. The third category is worldly talk, that what we call as Gramya Katha. Useless talk, they don't have any aim. But worldly talks, they have some aim, aimed at somebody. So Gramya Katha is classically, it used to happen in villages. So previously they used to discuss Ramayana, Mahabharata, Puranas after their farming work is over. But after slowly the cultured, as it went off, very fact that Lord Chaitanya 550 years ago says Gramya Katha, that means that time also this culture had started, going away. So Gramya Katha is about, from where did you purchase clothes, what is happening here, what is happening in our village, what is happening in his house, her house. Rupa Goswami talks about that these unnecessary talks, are like, this prajalpa is like a frog using his tongue for speaking wrong things instead of speaking about Krishna. They just attract the snake. Now here in the Srimad Bhagavatam, we are also talking about a snake which is Takshak, which is already, going to come and attack Parikshit Maharaj. But before that Takshak even bit him, Parikshit Maharaj had left his body and gone back to Godhead. So basically what prajalpa does is, we lose so many precious moments of our life. And we get more and more absorbed in illusion. The fourth is gossip. Gossip. Now useless talks were neutral, worldly talks where we just talking to each other. In gossip comes the tendency to criticize. People, they literally relish it like a juice. Gossip is something, sharing something with that typical message that I know. You don't know? I know. Let me share with you. And that is gossip. So you know something about somebody, just some information. And he knows about you, so we are just gossiping. This gossiping, like in small children they play chor police. And then there are games, they name it like this. So gossiping can be named as, kuda kuda, dustbin dustbin. That I throw a dustbin upon you, you gather out and you empty a dustbin on my head. That is how gossiping is. Fifth type of prajalpa is arguments. Some people, they just like to argue, just oppose. Somebody speaks something, oppose that idea. There is no tendency to, win or something, no need to come to a conclusion. But just an inherent tendency to argue. This happens especially with people whom we don't like. So sometimes even if they are speaking as per our thought process, still we argue because we don't like that person. The next is debate. 6. Now in argument, people just argue without any desire for victory. Debate is done with, desire for victory. And most of the debates currently going on are useless debates. I don't advise you watch television, but sometimes we are sitting in some clinic and those news are going on, and there are some 4 or 5 windows on the screen, and they are shouting from there on, "Main kehta hu, aap chup raho," they are online. So I sometimes feel if they are offline, they would have killed each other. So I think that is the reason nowadays the debates happen online on the screen. The 7th is to criticize. This is fault finding. Fault finding and criticize. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur in Upakhyan Updesh talks about this naked Pancho story. That how he was a naked boy roaming in the street, and his neighbors used to say, naked Pancho. He got into college. He is naked Pancho. He became a judge. Still they used to say, we know he is naked Pancho. He is wearing clothes of judge, but still, that tendency of fault finding. And this is something very bad for devotees. Karmis do it. But devotees, when they do for other devotees, and why do we offend other devotees? One, for their past habits. So I know previously he was like this, he was like that. 2, the current habits which are due to past habits. He's struggling to improve. But his current habits, he has some bad habits because of his past habits. It's like the fan which is slowing down. But still we point out, see, still he has bad habits. We criticize them based on birth. He is Indian devotee, African devotee, black devotee. Based on body, fat. He is very fat, So we should avoid, criticizing devotees based on habits, current habits, past habits, birth, or bodily feature. And the last type of prajalpa is speaking lies. And most of the time we speak lies to save ourselves, to protect ourselves. Speak lies to bring down a person whom we hate. Okay, so these are the 8 types. Normally in our society, everything we discuss in meter of 8. So 8 types of prajalpa. Today's verse speaks about Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishya, Shudra, how they are part of the Virat Rupa. And I just picked up one story of a king from Krishna book, that is King Nruga, who was a king, and there were Brahmanas also involved in the pastime. So as Krishna's sons were playing, they saw this huge lizard in a well. And immediately they went running out of compassion. Srila Prabhupada says they had compassion. Now see the culture that time. They see an animal trapped, immediately out of compassion they go and call the elders. Today's children, they would have started throwing stones on, such animals. Normally also people are, they just get some joy of throwing stones at dogs or donkeys or animals. They are actually trapped in lower body, unfortunately. They are not able to chant, do devotion, their consciousness is very low. They are as good as a mentally retarded person. A mentally retarded human being, if he is behaving, abnormally, when he comes to temple, does like this, we feel compassion. Just because I am human, he is human, and then we relate, he doesn't have a proper brain. But then we need to understand that even animals are like that. They are actually mentally retarded. They have intelligence for eating, mating, sleeping, defending, but don't have intelligence for doing bhakti. And then Lord Krishna, Srila Prabhupada uses the word, the friend of all living entities, simply extends his left hand and brings the lizard out. And actually, immediately touched by the hand of Lord Krishna, he turns into a beautiful demigod. His complexion glittered like a molten gold. So that is the power of touch of Lord Krishna. Just by left hand's touch, a lizard, immediately he turns into a demigod. We also should aspire for that touch of the Lord. And that touch we achieve during chanting, during deity worship. So deity worship we are touching. So those who have deities at home, there is opportunity to touch the Lord. But even if you don't have deities, even if you are not able to go to the altar and do the deity worship, we have an opportunity to come in touch with the Lord while chanting. And if we come in context, so why, devotees keep on asking, why I'm not progressing? Why I'm not progressing? Because our chanting is not good. There is opportunity to come in touch with Krishna. Here we seeing a miracle, the lizard getting liberated, just by that touch. But we are not, because our consciousness, we are thinking of so many things while chanting, we are not able to get in touch with Krishna. Now lizard is such a thing, this, especially Mataji's and kitchen, this lizard, even Prabhuji's also, I cannot say that. Actually our Daivat, what we call as Kula Daivat, is from a place called Pali. Pal means lizard, and there is a golden lizard over there, and Lord Shiva is there. And therefore I come in contact with lizards multiple times. I get these flowers, that time they are on the trees, they jump on my hand. Few days back, I parked my bike near this new construction on the backside. And as I started driving towards Grant Road, there I saw a lizard sitting on my bike. From there, next jump was on the hand. So I did like this. She went on the helmet. And I was so scared. And this Nareshwar Prabhu he stays there. So he said, Prabhu, wait, there is a lizard on the helmet. The whole people, they were watching. And then I removed my helmet and we had a discussion after that. Actually, we just have some dirty feeling about these lizards and reptiles especially. And actually when she touched me, it was such a soft feeling, it was not bad. And in our family, when we tell this to our elders in our family, they say, oh, our goddess had come to bless you. She was on your helmet and all. Now Krishna, he knows everything, but still he asks him that, so you immediately turned into a demigod. Who are you? Tell your identity. And moment King Nruga, he starts speaking, he said, oh Lord, you are the supreme witness. And he uses one line that nothing can be hidden from you, because he's in the heart. Sometimes when we are doing wrong things, our first fear is that no devotee should see me. We are doing some wrong thing, we are speaking some wrong thing, we are seeing some wrong thing. We always want that at least devotees should not see me. But here King Nruga says, you are the supreme witness, you are aware of every bit of work done by all living entities, past, present and future. And nothing can be hidden from your eternal cognizance. So we should always, being Krishna conscious, always Krishna conscious means always remembering that Krishna is there in my heart and nothing can be hidden from that. That whole exercise, we are put this tilak and we are doing this chanting and taking up to devotional service, is to please Lord Krishna. All our activities are aimed at pleasing Lord Krishna. And then why we are trying to do wrong things and thinking that I am trying to hide and the world should not know this. No. We cannot hide anything from the Lord. Srila Prabhupada, if you read this chapter, whatever this conversation is going on between Nruga and Krishna, Srila Prabhupada is kind of again and again talking about one thing, and he says that Nruga said that the history of his degradation caused by karma kanda activities. All that discussion goes on. Of every 6th, 7th line, Srila Prabhupada says, and he was just involved in pious activities. Okay, so he used to give lot of cows in charity. And how many cows? He says the cows that was total equal to number of particles of dust on the earth, the stars in the sky, and drops of water in the rainfall. That many cows, he used to donate. We in Govardhan Eco Village, we adopt one cow, and that is money is cut from our salary, and I so much proudly we tell one cow I have adopted. Here, what number he is given? Number of particles of dust on the earth, stars in the sky, and drops of water. So many cows he used to donate. Okay? And therefore, Srila Prabhupada writes, it is recommended by the Lord in Bhagavad Gita that one who is charitably disposed and desires to benefit from this charity should offer these gifts to please Krishna. So, Srila Prabhupada, is our guide, our mentor. He sees to it that we don't get distracted. The whole purpose should be to please Krishna. Whatever donation you do, whatever Gosh Seva you do, the whole purpose should be to please. Again and again he reminds. And then Srila Prabhupada goes ahead and he says that promotion to heavenly planets, there is no guarantee that one will fall down. Even if very pious, it cannot give eternal blissful life. The example of King Nruga definitely proves that fruitive activities, even if very pious, cannot give us a blissful life. Then Nruga said that all these cows were purchased with money earned legally. Sometimes there is this confusion amongst devotees that, I'm doing such a job where a lot of illegal money is coming in. Should I take that money and, put it in the hundi? Srila Prabhupada, he is so clear. And in this conversation, this is line by King Nruga only. All cows were purchased with money earned legally. So devotional service, everything, donations, everything has to be done by legal money. Illegal money actually is not only harmful for us, it is harmful for our future generations also. Salaried people, those people working in government, we hear of corruption. What happens is they get money as salary fixed, thousands, lakhs, and over and above they get some money. And that money is more attractive to them. I'm not sure about this. Some people get lakhs of rupees from some contracts, and that's what we hear of. And there are so many cases proved, corruption charges proved also. So people like that illegal money, but they don't realize that it badly affects their future, their own life and their. I know of a man, I used to give his example. He was a very corrupt person, and he was my father's friend, and his son and me were together. So I keep on giving this example. My father was always a hard-working person, and because of his, all this good work, we all entered into devotional service. But that person who was earning illegally, his son, he never became a doctor also. And few days back I had gone to native place and I was telling this point, and then somebody told me that he died. His son, had a death even at age of 30, 35 or 40. So we should be knowing this, that not a single rupee we should, earn illegally. And he says that cows were not given to any worthless person. And then Srila Prabhupada talks about that these cows were given to Brahmanas, and Brahmanas never hoard money for luxurious life. They always remain poverty-stricken. This charity was nicely performed as a sacrifice according to Vedic rituals. King also stated that he not only bestowed gifts upon the Brahmanas, but he had performed other pious activities like digging wells, planting trees on the roadside, installing ponds. This all is good. But again, the motive should be to please Krishna. You know, there is a pastime of Narottam Das Thakur and Loknath Goswami. Interiors of the forests of Vrindavan, they were doing bhajan. And so that people don't come there and disturb for water and this, they had, you know, they are also digged a well. Okay, you come and drink water there and go. Now one man came and they were chanting. And he asked for water. So actually, water was there. But he could not see, or somehow he missed it. And he said, water, water. Loknath Goswami didn't open his eyes. Narottam Das Thakur also thought that he may see the well, drink and go out. But then, out of compassion, he just kept his bead bag aside, went there and gave water. Now, this is something we cannot even speak in a public forum. After that, Loknath Goswami in the evening fired him. He said, you are chanting. You know, you want to become, you are from a family of kings. You have this royal thing. You want to give people like this. You love doing that. So you leave Vrindavan and go. You know, one of the firings he received. So what point is that whenever we are giving something, we immediately feel that I am at a superior position. That is the risk of giving charity. It's not that we should not be giving charity. We should give as much charity as possible. But the mood should be sitting down and giving, that you please accept and do favor on me. Do favor on me. Not that we sit up and give down. Okay, I am doing something. Because this money also doesn't belong to us. Okay, this everything belongs to Krishna. Our body using which we are earning money also belongs to Krishna. So if we are giving water to somebody also, that whole mood should be that this also belongs to Krishna. My hands belong to Krishna and I am giving it to you. So, and that whole story he then tells that how one cow which he had donated came back to his Goshala, and next day he donated again to a different Brahmana. And then both of them came fighting whom this cow belongs to. He gave a proposal of, giving 1 lakh cows to both of them, but they were, angry and they just left. And then after his death, when he was taken to Yamraj asked him that, what do you want? You want to enjoy your pious activities, fruit of pious activities, or suffer for the sins? And he hinted that you have done so much pious activity that you will get so much enjoyment. And he chose to suffer first. And Srila Prabhupada, writes here that in spite of this hint that there is no limit to your further enjoyment, the king, bewildered, decided to first suffer the result of impious activities and then accept the results of pious activities. So Prabhupada even has criticized this. Because Prabhupada said this Nruga, he thought that let me suffer and then I will enjoy. So he says he has tendency to enjoy. Actually, he was standing in front of Yamraj, who is one of the Mahajans, taking advice from him what to do. But Yamraj, he knows the best thing what can be done. But then he says that in spite of being put into this degraded condition, I simply thought of you. So he had come in contact with a Mahajan and he has learned the things hard way. And there was this special blessings. Some devotees, they give a different version to this, that he had served cows. And because of that, he had donated cows, served Brahmanas. although involved in pious activities, but still that helped him. And in that degraded state also, he was able to remember. And that's what King Nruga says, that I simply thought of you, my dear Lord, and my memory was never vanquished. You know, a Krishna conscious person develops love of Godhead, Krishna, not love for pious, impious activities. Srila Prabhupada just continues to thrash, in between this, throughout this chapter. He is not subjected to such an action. Somehow or other, as a result of his pious activities, King Nruga had aspired to see the Lord. So he says, "Oh Lord, I had great desire that someday I am able to see you personally. I might be able to see you personally. I think that this desire to see you, combined with my tendency to perform ritualistic charitable activities, has enabled me to retain the memory of who I was in the former life." Such people are called as Jati Smara. So that small desire was there to see the Lord. Although such an exalted saintly person may see you, he talks about that many exalted people can see you in your heart, but still they cannot see you face to face. And I was so fortunate that I could see you face to face. And after that what happens is, he goes to the heavenly planets. Srila Prabhupada, is such a well-wisher of all of us. He says, but these people, they go to heavenly planet, but still they are not eligible to go to the spiritual kingdom, that is Vaikuntha. So that none of the devotees, none of his followers get distracted by this. Srila Prabhupada said, see, this Nruga, even after seeing the Lord, he didn't go to Vaikuntha. He went to heavenly planets. So from there he may get a next chance of going to Vaikuntha. So what Srila Prabhupada is telling is our focus should be only one. Not getting into pious, impious activities, only devotional service or whatever pious activities are to be done for the pleasure of Krishna. We don't distribute food, we distribute prasad. Okay? And then when he goes, Lord Krishna, he talks about Nruga to his sons. He gives advice to his sons. And he says, even though Kshatriya king may be powerful, it is not possible for him to snatch away the property of a Brahmana and utilize for his own purpose. He warns his sons. I do not think that taking poison is as dangerous as taking a Brahmana's property. Ordinary poison, there is a treatment, but if one can be relieved from its effects, but one drinks the poison of taking away property of a Brahmana or a Vaishnava, then there is no remedy for mistake. And perfect example of this is King Nruga. So Srila Prabhupada is giving us so many lessons that we should not be taking away property of any Brahmanas. And he talks about Vaishnava Parat, talks about not taking away property. And in spite of all this advice given by Lord Krishna, at the end, the whole Yadu dynasty, of course it was a different pastime altogether, was destroyed because of offending devotees, offending sadhus, making joke of sadhus. So Krishna was warning them from that point of time that you should never offend devotees. Now, using the property of the Brahmanas, not snatching away the property of the Brahmanas, the lesson for us is how the whole temple, it runs by the money given by the Vaishnavas. Or somebody hands over, now we are doing Janmashtami donations, collecting Janmashtami donations. So people have donated it for Lord Krishna. So many people they donate. So we should be conscious here. We should be conscious here like King Nruga. Prabhupada warns that he tried to take away, although he had not tried, it was just a mistake that had happened. But Prabhupada has given so many warnings. And Krishna himself, after Nruga went to heavenly planets, he says that you cannot snatch away Brahmana's property. So it has to be utilized properly. Or every paisa which is used, which we get, we should see to it, that we use it in service of Lord Krishna. So I stop here, it is 9:15. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much. Hmm.